Hi everyone, my name is Krystle Pagarigan and I'm one of the S1404 data coordinators at the SWOG Statistics and Data Management Center in Seattle. Thanks for joining me this morning, and I'm just going to provide some updates about the 1404 trial. So the goal of my presentation is just to provide some context for the current data management work we're doing with the trial now that we've closed to accrual. The 1404 trial has a lot of important timelines coming up, namely the interim analysis. So I just wanted to provide information that will help sites understand some of the common data requests and data entry changes we've already made or will make soon to the trial in preparation to meet those timelines. So just quickly, what is S1404? 1404 is a therapeutic two-step phase 3 trial evaluating either interferon or ipilimumab to pembrolizumab in resected advanced stage melanoma patients. It opened to accrual at all NCTN sites in October 2015 and expanded to include international sites in Canada and Ireland. Thanks to the diligence and dedication of our clinical sites, the S1404 trial accrued very quickly and closed to all new registrations last summer, August 2017. Accrual to both steps closed in November 2017. An important characteristic to note about the S1404 trial is that it is a potential FDA registration trial, aka a validated study. As Melissa Pletz noted earlier, this means that the trial has more stringent data collection requirements and procedures, as the data collected for the study may be used to support a drug application to the FDA. That being said, because the data from the trial may be used to support an FDA application, we at the Statistics and Data Management Center, comprised of the study statisticians and the data coordinators like myself, will be reaching out more frequently to sites regarding data submission in RAVE to prepare the trial for the interim analysis and eventually the final analysis. I'm going to take the next few slides to provide updates about commonly asked for data entry items. So one of the most commonly queried for items by the 1404 data management team includes the 1404 eligibility checklist, which is a paper form that can be found in the 1404 master form set on ctsu.org. They were required to be completed starting in April 15, 2016, but were unfortunately not available for download until September 2016. As such, patients registered between these dates only need to have a signed copy of Protocol Section 5 uploaded into RAVE, but patients registered after September 15, 2016 will need a signed copy of the 1404 eligibility checklist. Additionally, if the checklist was never uploaded, the study team requests that a completed and signed copy of the S1404 eligibility checklist be uploaded in the appropriate patient's charts. Because of the history of this form, I realized that keeping track of what is acceptable to upload to fulfill the 1404 eligibility checklist requirement may be a little confusing. So here's a visual representation of what is required to fulfill those eligibility checklist requirements based on the patient's registration date. Please note that a vast majority of patients will require some checklists to be uploaded. There were only approximately 100 patients who were registered before April 15, 2016. So this visual representation will be available in the S1404 Data Entry and Specimen Management Guidelines, which I'll discuss later on. But to wrap up discussion about the 1404 eligibility checklist, some items I just wanted to bring to your attention include that the current iteration of the 1404 eligibility checklist is 5 pages in total, but previous versions were only 4 pages. So as such, please be sure to respond to all questions on the form, make sure that you upload all the pages. Please also ensure that the data on this checklist is consistent with associated data on the RAVE on-study forms. Common fields I personally tend to query on include the on-study lab values and the staging reported on the patient and disease description forms. And another item that the members of the 1404 data management team would like to highlight is the data entered on the cycle-specific lab values form. Lab values are required to be done at various time points throughout the treatment cycle and are collected in RAVE on these cycle-specific laboratory values forms. However, please note that a cycle begins at the same time the infusion starts. So labs that are done on the same day but prior to the infusion are considered to be labs from the previous cycle and should be entered on the previous cycle's lab values form. We have recently updated the form instructions to help clarify this requirement. Our team also works closely with the patient-reported outcomes team at the SWOG SDMC to manage the patient-reported outcomes component. of the 1404 trial. Some of the common data management items the PRO team would like to advise sites of include interpreting patients' answers accurately, as we want to make sure that patients' views are correctly represented, double-checking responses and requesting any clarifications from the patient immediately after they complete the questionnaires, and reviewing and uploading requested data in RAVE, being sure to double-check your entries before submission. And if you have any questions about the patient-reported outcomes, please feel free to email us at melanomaquestion@crab.org, and we'll loop in the appropriate contacts from the PRO team. Due to the validated nature of the trial, the S1404 also has centralized monitoring requirements, which are detailed in Protocol Section 18.6. In short, though, centralized monitoring occurs on the first 2 patients randomized after October 2016 at sites not previously audited. Many of the items encountered on the S1404 trial during centralized monitoring also surround the eligibility checklist, which I discussed previously. However, if you have any additional questions, you can contact the centralized monitoring email distribution list indicated here. I'm now going to transition from data management chips on S1404 to some newer items that we've recently implemented on the trial, some of which you may have already seen and used. The first items are the new disease assessment form, which we released in March along with revision 8 of the protocol. It is to be submitted for patients who are currently receiving protocol treatment, as well as patients who are off protocol treatment but have not experienced progression or relapse as defined in Protocol Section 10. The new disease assessment form is meant to take the place of the forms found in the follow-up and disease assessment folders, which are still editable to sites. However, no new forms will roll out in this folder. Follow-up forms will now roll out in a separate follow-up folder. And all new follow-up data should be entered there. Please be sure not to enter any follow-up data previously reported in older forms in these new follow-up forms. And on the right hand is a screenshot of what all these folders currently look like in RAVE. It is important to note that with this disease assessment and follow-up form restructuring in S1404, that patients who are off treatment but have not progressed or relapsed will need to complete both the disease assessment form and the adjuvant melanoma follow-up form in the follow-up folder in RAVE. Details regarding this can be found in S1404 Protocol Section 14. And I realize that this table is a little cut off, but this is essentially outlining how the new disease assessment form will be utilized in conjunction with the adjuvant melanoma follow-up form. It essentially outlines the requirements for form submission as described in my previous 2 slides, so I won't go over in detail, but a copy will be available for you to view at your leisure in the S1404 data entry and specimen submission guidelines. And another newish item on the 1404 trial includes the outstanding data reports emails. You may seen these emails go out to the head CRA at your site from myself over several times over the past few months. They are currently scheduled to run every 8th and 22nd of the month. These emails contain computer-generated reports that go out to your site if one or more of the following outstanding data types are identified in our system. These include outstanding data manager queries open for greater than or equal to 30 days since posting, system queries open for greater than or equal to 30 days since posting, non-conformant data error messages in RAVE open for greater than or 30 days since attempted submission, and forms delinquent for greater than or equal to 60 days. These reports were developed to help assist with timely data collection at sites and do not affect your site institution performance review, although there may be some overlap. If you have any questions about these emails, feel free to reach out directly to me or anyone on the 1404 team at the melanomaquestion@crab.org distribution list. Another new item on the 1404 trial includes the discontinuation of collection of the PK80A samples. The important thing to note about this is that although PK80A sampling was discontinued in December of 2017, all samples collected but not yet shipped should still be submitted to the lab per the instructions in 1404 section 15.4. And the last new and exciting item is that the 1404 team has developed a more formal data entry and specimen submission guideline document. We hope this will be a good resource for sites to answer common questions the team receives on the trial. Electronic copies will soon be available on the SWOG workbench, but some hard copies will be available to look at the S1404 ORP table during the ORP open forum later on today. And so that brings me to my final items. If you have additional questions or want to chat more about 1404, we will have a table at the ORP Open Forum in a few hours to go over more common S1404 data entry questions and to answer more specific questions you might have. It'll be me, Sean, and Joe, who you heard from earlier at the table, so come visit us, say hello. Additionally, you can always reach us at the melanoma question distribution list or by calling the SWOG data operations main line using the information listed here. We are always more than happy to walk through specific patient cases with you and hear your suggestions for the trial. So that concludes my presentation. Thanks for your time and attention. And as always, we at the SWOG Statistics and Data Management Center always appreciate all of our S1404 sites' diligence and efforts on the trial. Thank you.